Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this new hot and tasty episode of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. Boomstick XL, and we have so much to cover today. You just get ready for the next 2 hours. You're going to have a great time just sitting back listening to a bunch of podcasters talk about the hottest news in gaming. And in order to do that, I needed to put an incredible panel together, and I did just that. So let's get into the introductions so we can start breaking down the hottest news of the week. Now, first up, you know him as our resident trophy hunting PlayStation gamer. He's also one of the community's finest, in my opinion, and has an incredible YouTube channel. Please welcome back to the show, BitCloud Gaming.
What's going on, people? I actually overslept last show, so excuse me on that. But nah,
That's okay,
good to be back.
dude.
Good to be back for sure. Glad everybody is here. David, my brother, you already know. Me and him on bump heads on dumb stuff, so you already know it's fun. Y'all have some laughs. Just added Spyro, I think the first one to the list. So the platinum has reached 121.
Wow.
That's crazy, man.
So let's go and continue.
Well, listen, dude, that is as impressive as your last video regarding the Last of Us 2 leak that we heard you get really testy live on the air. But we'll talk about that in a second, because we're going to get your opinion on everything that's going on at Naughty Dog.
We gotta be very, very careful on that too, because I'm
yes, I know they are slamming down. You know what? Again, we're not doing any leaks. I'm gonna actually.
I wouldn't do that. Just I wouldn't even show a picture. To be honest,
no. We're not showing anything. We're basically gonna simply just talk about it, and we're gonna be rational and give our personal opinions. But let me continue with, of course, the introductions. Next up, you know him as not only someone who's on multiple shows weekly on my particular show of either being the Primetime Plus or Breakfast with Boom, or occasionally and recently a lot of the Xbox Factor podcast. And again, he has been getting tremendous feedback for being one of the community's finest and most honest. Please welcome Mr. Bad Bit.
Lord King David. Oh, hi, everybody. What's going on? Happy to be here. I watched Real Talk. Here's why I'm so tired. I, for some reason, stayed up till like 2 a.m. watching the Sonic movie.
It's a good movie. Good film.
It's a good movie, man.
It is.
It's a good kids movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, okay? I laughed a couple of times. Like,
I enjoyed it. I bought it. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, and like Jim Carrey's like makes you want an Ace Ventura movie again. Like,
it was definitely classic Jim Carrey for sure.
Oh yeah. So you know what? That's why I'm so tired today.
Well, listen, dude, it's great to have you here as always. We're very interested to hear your opinion on what we're going to be talking about, and you always do bring it 100. But let me continue with the introductions. Next up, you know him as our resident chain-sawing Gears of War professional and someone with the raspiest voice in podcasting. Please welcome Crispy Bomb.
What's up, Boom? What's up, Chad? 2 weeks in a row, baby. Let's go. We got some great topics.
Well, it's great. It's really glad to have you back, dude. Always enjoy the banter and, of course, the honesty that comes along with your opinions. And last, and in no way least, I call him brother. You can call him your majesty. Please welcome back to the show, King David.
What's going on, fellas? I can't wait to dig into the topics today. Bayonets up.
Well, look, here's the thing. We actually have a lot to cover. And what we're going to open up the show with is this. This week has been almost very nice there, Mr. Bad Bit. Look at that. Very, very nice change. I actually have that right above my head. Yeah, it's very, very nice.
It's crispy approved.
Going back.
It's crispy approved indeed.
I've been meaning to take this out for literally like weeks now. I don't know why. Like, you said Gears of War for like what seems like, we've said Gears of War a lot over the last month, but it's awakened me now. I need to get.
I remember when they first sold that back when I think it was Gears 2.
No, it's
Yeah.
actually Gears 1. It was
Was
an
it Gears
Amazon.
1
It was an
PlayStation?
Amazon special edition. I still
Ah,
have it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It was like
That was,
it was like a
that's the-
line just for the damn gun. That's
yeah,
crazy.
it is old.
And my boy has like a gold finish one. It's nice.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah. I
mhm.
saw that one. That one's dope. Also,
Y'all don't put those in the place cases? No.
With this,
Yeah, no. Some of y'all come buy them and put them in display cases and have them. Like,
mine's
Yeah.
actually hanging on the wall.
this
Like
this one was in the closet. Like,
shame on you, sir.
old laundry and shit.
You know it's mad at you, right? You better watch out, Mike.
Better watch out. Yeah, she bites. So listen, you know what? Let's get into the nitty gritty of this, because this is going to be a topic that I would imagine that we're going to spend a significant amount of time on, and we're going to attack this in a professional manner because we're all podcast professionals. And obviously, it's no surprise that this week has been very, very hot on social media, and for good reason. And what is being considered one of the most unprecedented and incredible leaks happened to Naughty Dog in the form of basically The Last of Us 2's middle, beginning, and ending being leaked for everyone to watch. As a matter of fact, something posted yesterday that I believe it was an hour and 39 minutes of additional footage. And I think that not only is that terrible for the gaming community that has been looking forward to this game, it's probably it's the biggest thing to happen to a Sony company since the PS3 hack, in my opinion. And we're going to get into exactly because there's new evidence or new rumored evidence as to what exactly is going on, who was exactly responsible, and we're getting some different reports. So I want to bring in BitCloud on this, because BitCloud, as we were talking in the opening, you put out a video literally the day that this happened, and it's probably the most angry I've ever heard you. And you were being what I like to consider, and what we all are, emotional gamers, because this is something that you were looking forward to. There's no doubt that this had the potential, and still does, to be Game of the Year 2020. But with everything that's leaked, the more and more I keep my ear to social media, the more I keep hearing from people that are going to step away from buying it. Now, do I think sales are going to be hurt? No. I think people are still going to buy The Last of Us 2. I think it's horrible that some of the biggest key points of the film, of the game, are now ruined thanks to an a-hole or a team of a-holes. What new information can you give us or bring to the table regarding this leak? Now we're hearing that it may not have even been an employee, that they might have been victims of phishing, which of course is a form of hacking.
Mm-hmm. So, Jason Schreier put out a report or a comment on Twitter. He said that it could very well have just been something else. He said the reports of employees being mistreated, et cetera, he believes is ridiculous. I think David Jaffe also comment on this, saying something similar as well. Again, I don't really know. I don't know the full story, but I covered it as much as, pretty much we all reacted to it the way we saw it on social media. We heard that it was a disgruntled employee. And if it was a disgruntled employee, so I'm just going to attack it from both sides, right? If it's a disgruntled employee, I don't know where in God's name anybody in this community thinks I'm going to sympathize with this developer, not only intentionally ruining a game by showcasing everything that we were looking forward to. And I'm not just talking about the key points. No. I'm talking about spoiling everything that we were building up towards.
Well, as a gamer, you and everybody on this panel, the 160 people here that are watching live already, we look forward to those holy shit moments in games, right? And to have that ruined is, please continue.
Yeah, if you ruin those moments, you take away those key things that we paid to see, paid to watch. That's really like it's kind of like the of somebody leaking the Avengers Endgame before we even saw it Endgame,
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
You took away everything, the pizzazz, I guess you can say, right? The shock value of what's going to happen. If you would have wrote on Twitter right now and say, "Hey guys, Black Widow, she sacrifices herself, she dies," Do you think
or even with the one of the biggest points in that film is when Cap picked up the Thor's hammer, right? So if you would have known that going in,
the moment when the
just I'll put it this way: for me, Cap is my favorite hero, number one on top of the list. And just talking about it, that 3 seconds that just passed, I got goosebumps on the top of my arms all the way down to my hands, right? So that's how important that moment was for me, because we've seen it in the comics, and reading that, you were like, oh my God. So now being able to see this in live action, if someone would have told me, yo, you're not going to believe this, and they flashes across the screen, I would have been pissed.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know what they expected my reaction to be, but my reaction again, if it's an employee who did this, he took away moments where we were all gonna look forward to. You're spoiling the key moments in general. If you think that's something that I'm gonna sympathize with, or anybody's gonna sympathize with, I don't know what to tell you. Something's wrong with you mentally. It's not something that I approve of whatsoever. And to those who are being ignorant on the matter, I'm talking about those on social media, Reddit, who are actually sharing this stuff around.
Don't do that, man. Please don't do that. And they're going out of their way to do that and trick people into using keywords.
Yeah, like I saw this. It was funny. It was crazy. I think, David, did you see it too? When Neil put out the statement from Naughty Dog when he was like, I'm sorry for this happened. Somebody actually sent the leak to him. In the thread. Somebody actually did this, and I was like, "Yo, really? Y'all just spreading around like this? What's like doing it?" And everybody started getting into everybody started getting into arguments over this. I'm talking like bigger YouTubers were getting arguments over this on Twitter and Threads. It was like, "Yo, yeah, dudes wishing death upon the guy." Like, look, this is pretty big, And again, I'm just going to say the same thing I said before. If Halo Infinite, for those of them being ignorant, saying, oh, I'm glad that it got leaked. If this was Halo Infinite,
people would have been, they would have been equally upset.
And it would equally
same energy. I need that same energy. If this was Halo Infinite and it got leaked, and let's say something massive happened in Halo Infinite, like Master Chief dying, and that was leaked, we wouldn't have this conversation.
We would have this conversation.
We wouldn't have this conversation.
We would have the same exact conversation. But the way that I'm going to attack it when it's my turn, y'all probably not gonna like the kids.
Well, you know what? King David, we'll save you. We'll save King David for last, but because obviously he's gonna have some key points, and he's gonna be King David, so we're expecting to be a laugh riot. But
to continue to go back now again, so that's how I feel on this whole disgruntled employee portion. Could care less about the guy, and if that is a disgruntled employee, if you think he's going to be looked at like, as a hero, or he's going to get some job, or people look at him. When a guy leaks something this big, a massive studio project like this, do you really think anybody's going to take a chance on this guy?
His career is over.
And go, you know what? This guy, he's good at programming. No, they're going to look at him as what, David? A liability. Taking a chance on somebody.
It's always two sides to a coin.
True, it's two sides to a coin, but you look at it like that. It's like, I'm not sure. Now, if you look at this from a phishing point, the leak or whatever, they're being hacked. If that was the case, not surprised. I've seen so much of this over and over, right? But I would have liked this information to be a little quicker than what it was. Because now we're getting reports of leaks. What 2-3 days after?
It sounds like a cover up, but
it does. It's like I would like to listen. I would like to think, but at the same time, it's like whatever. And there's one thing to also take into account too. When something gets leaked and you see a portion of something, usually how do I say this? Some things are good when you actually experience it, right? A lot better when you experience it yourself versus what you see on paper or what you see in snippets of what's being leaked. We've seen snippets of Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, I remember when Horizon Zero Dawn had snippets leaked.
Yes.
But when you experience it, it was a different story. You didn't really care because you had context to what that particular scene was. And that's how I kind of see it as well too. So I'll definitely take that consideration when I actually play it. It's still gonna be a day one for me. To these people,
absolutely, dude.
Yeah, to these people saying they were never going to buy it or saying they're pushing agendas like LGBT. I'm like, listen, you clearly are new to this game. You never played the first one. You don't know a damn thing about Ellie. You never knew a damn thing about Joel. You never played the game. Let's keep that in perspective. Stop acting like you're this diehard fan who played the first one, who put numerous hours into factions, because let's be real, nobody gives a damn about factions. But factions was also leaked. And they go, I want to play factions now, because factions been like, I'm like, I guarantee you, if I asked you what your PSN is, David already know about to go with this. If I asked you what your PSN is, I guarantee I won't see a damn Last of Us trophy on your damn account. I mean, you didn't even play factions. So let's stop capping for the sake of capping for views. Let's stop doing this for attention on Twitter. It ain't funny, and you look pathetic in the long run. I don't care about that particular shit. It doesn't bother me. This console war shit goes to the roots, and it definitely brings out the retardation in people in general. But at the same time, when you got grown-ass men who dedicate their lives to it and then try to actually go online and leak it in the comment sections, that's when you look at the
that's been a
video. No, this is where it gets funny. I did my video, right? I had a premiere. You know the premiere feature? I had
it in your chat.
You was in the chat. I put it in the chat. I'm like, what did you boys? Do you boys think you're gonna survive in this chat? No, I started blocking left and right. It was like, you don't like free speech. Free speech.
That's not free speech. That's just being an a-hole.
And then somebody said I sound entitled in my video.
It's not in the sense it's free trolling. I mean, you may not like it. You may not like what's being said. May not like what's being shown. But again, it is essentially free speech. To be honest with you, I mean, you can choose to look at it or not.
But like they think it's free. It's also like anybody that uses that argument, like, it's free speech. It's like, no, you're for me.
Listen, it's free speech until it's something that you like.
Exactly. Like you think your mind say you like something for sure, but if you're going to come in here and try to leak something, like let's be real. Let's say if David was doing a show right now talking about Avengers Endgame before Avengers Endgame came out, and you had the full script, you had every character, you just say, "Hey, David, did you know that Thor becomes fat?"
Yeah, right.
Did you know that Thanos disappears after Iron Man sacrifices his life? You go, what? But why are you putting this in the chat? You're like, why are you showing it? Dudes do this all the time. It's like you can't be excited for anything really anymore in this community. Every single game there's an issue with. I just know that, like, this is something that's always going to be apparent. Every single game that launches has an issue, whether it be downgraded, whether the game doesn't look up to par to your ridiculous, unrealistic expectations.
The puddle doesn't have, the ray tracing inside.
It doesn't have the ray tracing. It doesn't have the puddles. It doesn't have.
I'm missing a puddle.
It doesn't have the color damage. Whatever the hell it is, you got dudes complaining about a damn game because it looks like a cartoon, but they don't want to play the damn game to begin with because they never had any interest to play it to begin with. Let's just keep it in perspective. If you don't care, do me a huge favor. Shut the hell up.
Well, listen, you know what I gotta say, you've been on this program for almost a year, and this is probably the most animated I think I've ever heard you, and you can tell that you're upset by this, and for good reason. This what occurred is unprecedented, like I said earlier. But let me bring in the rest of the panel. I
didn't see fake outrage. Some of them are in the chat. I'm speaking.
No. There's no fake outrage with you. This is legit, and again for good reason. You, Mr. Bedbit, I want to bring you in on the conversation because you, of course, have not only been very vocal about this on both the Trophy Room and on my show. And I kind of want you to attack this from a different perspective.
Okay.
And my question to you is, regardless of whether or not this is confirmed to be someone inside that's disgruntled, that didn't get the money they were supposed to get, or that, there's been talk that this is a potentially group effort and one person stepped forward to kind of get the head cut off, or this was in fact something through a phishing scheme, if you will, being hacked because everyone's working from home. Regardless of any of those scenarios, which we've all discussed in extreme depth, in my opinion, my question to you is, what happens next for Naughty Dog? See, because I have a very good suspicion and just a feeling that a leader like Neil Druckmann, who said that he was heartbroken over this, and you can tell that he was. You can tell by the way he wrote his
this is his story. right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So my question again is, what exactly happens to Naughty Dog now?
Well, before I get there, Big Cloud did fire me up.
Okay, no, come on, bring it, dude.
Yeah.
This is a conversational podcast, so come on in.
Let it out, man.
I
Because
need to tackle what Big Cloud said because I've been chomping at the bit at this idea. It is one of the reasons why I'm so disillusioned with YouTube is that everything has to be fake outrage. Everything has to push some type of agenda. And we don't ask anything about the bigger YouTubes that are pushing out these bogus ideas or bogus claims or how disappointed they are pushing politics. First and foremost, everything has politics in it. Literally everything. When I hear that excuse of like they're trying to push an agenda, they're trying to push their politics on me, literally, then all these people must have hated BioShock because that's like it's literally just like just a gut punch to Ayn Rand via the grave. Like everything has politics. Just say that you don't agree with it, and that's why you don't like it. So, like, I'm sorry, like, you know, this is not a spoiler, but like Ellie kisses a girl, and if you're upset about that, that's a you problem. My apologies.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I'm sorry, you're a terrible person. That's it. There's no conversation after that, right? Everything has politics in it. The most basic things, like the only thing I could think of off the top of my mind would be like Legends of Zelda, Mario. I don't see any type of philosophical thinking in those games, but you could probably find them even in those games. So when I hear that bogus, dumb excuse and people arguing or I'm not going to buy it because they're pushing agendas, you're an idiot. You never really liked gaming. You just wanted to live in a bubble. That's it. When it comes to this person, whether they worked at Naughty Dog, first off, they're never going to find a job ever again. Like that's just
their career in gaming is over. That's the end of the story. They're going to be a programmer at some company, and they'll never make video games again. Even anything that has the potential to have secrets behind it, I don't think they'll get hired.
No, I like if you mess with a $1 billion company's, you know, multi-million-dollar franchise, you're not blacklisted is your least concern. So like that person is never gonna nope, not gonna happen. And what I do find interesting is that it looks like a lot of people jumped the gun, and this may not be a person that's working at Naughty Dog. So that's the interesting thing. It's like, well, how did you jump the gun? Why was it out of like an emotional response? What makes you think that it's not? Those are all questions that are going to get answered over time. Unfortunately, it's not going to be timely, so that sucks. But if it's a phishing thing or like hacking, that's where like I originally thought this was some type of person somewhere in East Bumbleheck, and like they're just fishing for information and they got something out of the gold mine that is Naughty Dog. You know, like we were talking before the show. I know some people that work in cybersecurity. I know people that work in these big corporations, and what they've told me is that these phishing attacks, and I don't know what they are. I'm not I'm not a cyber head. Again, my password is password 12345. But what they say is that they're becoming more and more, way more frequent than ever before. Like my one friend who works in cybersecurity, they're rushing to get back into the office because of COVID, because it is just balls to the wall, insane. At the working from home right now, everybody's scatterbrained because of these cyber attacks that are happening, even just on the local level. So when I see that and know that like people's information are at risk, that makes it suck hopefully a little less, knowing that it's not someone that actually worked there. But as to where Naughty Dog goes from here, I mean, it's the reason why Sony didn't want this game to come out when it did in the first place, and I think it's for two reasons. I think money talks, right? They want look, they're not as awesome as CD Projekt Red, right? Where they're just like, we're going to release a game, we don't care. You know, they have unfortunately shareholders to comply with and to give the biggest result to. So of course they want that 40% physical, no doubt. Second thing too is releasing a game about a pandemic in the midst of a pandemic might not be the greatest look for you. And we've already seen reviews which you're like, so stupid, but they're like, this is a great game, but just not in the moment because I'm stuck in my house. It's like, you don't want that narrative as well. Again, like, I get it, but what happens now is Naughty Dog needs to ship this game. They need to do damage control in the fact of, you know, not appealing to Jared, who's afraid of two women kissing, but appeal to the people that, like, right now, these DMCA takedowns, I don't know if they're legal or not, but I understand why they're doing them. You know,
absolutely.
They want to control this thing to the fullest of their potential. You can assume they're already talking to Google, their analytical team, to make sure they're taking everything.
You know what? I can actually add to what you're saying because I did a search for normally when I put these shows together, I like to have slides, you know, with the corresponding topics, you know, because I with this program, I can't run gameplay video yet. That's coming. As soon as they offer it, you know, they update the program, I'll be able to have gameplay running in the background, which is going to be great. So right now what I do is you know, I slide the pictures in and out. I have the teletype on the bottom, and I thought I had a picture of the Naughty Dog logo, which is a very simple one. It's just a red paw. That's all it is. Don't you know that I typed it in 10 different ways from Sunday and nothing comes up. Absolutely nothing comes up. The only thing that came up was the Wikipedia. That is it. So that means that somehow or another, they did in fact go to Google and have anything with the words Naughty Dog, Last of Us, whatever, completely wiped away from the search.
Yeah. And again, that's normally what companies do in this. And Google's really good at it. Just ask China. They're really good at censoring free speech. So going over to, like, this leak sucks. Please don't leak it. If you are, you're a horrible person. Just miserable, in fact.
Don't do that. Please don't ruin someone's game.
Seriously, don't ruin the surprise. To me, again, like, it just changes the perspective of what's happening, kind of like what Big Cloud's saying. It you know, you saw the destination, now I want to see the journey, how you get there. I'd rather be surprised, though. Unfortunately for me, some of that's been spoiled because, you know, men are upset at strong female leads. But
problem is some of them won't ever give a game the chance like that. They'll just be quick to jump
they're
on
just
like,
I'm doing it for the lulz.
I do it for the developers, even though they fail to realize this hurts the developers as well.
It hurts. Don't do this. People worked really hard on this. That's the part where it really bums me out. It's not the fact that, listen, I'm a content creator. 9 times out of 10, this leak, whatever, is gonna get spoiled for me. That's fine. I live with that. I hate knowing that someone worked their asses off, crunched to get this out, just to get it spoiled for some you know, stupid idiot online to feel important for 5 minutes of their life because they got any
nonsense. Yep.
Yeah. So for me, that's where Naughty Dog first needs to do. They need to damage control, get this game out, and I can bet you $1 million right here, right now, it has already happened or it is happening. And every time I mention this, I get a shout out from some of my data entry folks. They're doing an analysis of what happened. And they are breaking down that spreadsheet. They are going to see what's up with their crunch culture. And then you're going to see in the months to come them start improving some things.
Yeah.
But like, do I believe the one leak where like hundreds of people have been furloughed? No. There's more and more information comes out, and it does seem completely false because Sony's already come out and said we're paying all of our employees. This is weeks before. So like a lot of the information as well just seems completely fabricated. So I don't believe it. It's shocking when I first read it, but that now I could toss that out. To me, I think what's really important for Naughty Dog is for them to tackle the crunch culture because their brand is very much damaged from this.
Yeah, well, you got to remember that we had I believe it was March 11th.
Yeah,
Jason Schreier put out that report.
And that's the thing. Yeah, is no matter if like the rumors are true and it's like the worst place to work, and Neil Druckmann knocks on your door and every single day and punches you in the nuts and goes, "Get back to work." Whether that's true or not, and Neil does look like he has a strong hit. They need to address that right after this game's out. Because now, I bet they're all heads down. I bet they're now crunching even more, and probably a lot of it's super voluntary to try to suppress these leaks. And anybody that who has hacked it or did whatever, I mean, just look at the people that hacked Xbox Live and PSN and Christmas. They're all in jail.
Yeah,
so that's what's going to probably happen to this guy. He's going to go. He's
real quick before you, I'll let you continue, but I just want to catch the super chats before I lose them. First of all, Smitty Smith drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says this: shout out to the panel and chat, the Book of X. Let's see. I want to make sure I get everybody because you know how I feel about if I miss them. Elemental Pio is here. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says this: not sure if you remember when Halo 2 leaked, upsetting. Yes, I do remember that. That was pretty crummy. Crazy Mate Gaming drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says this: the sad part is that people sharing this and intentionally ruining it for others are the ones that were never going to play it in the first place. That is a very strong and correct statement. Weenie drops a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that. He says, do you think Sony would rather you believe it was a disgruntled employee over a hack? After all, the last hack seriously damaged the Sony brand during the PlayStation 3 era. That's a great question. We'll
Funny enough, can I just jump in for just a second?
One second. I'll let you answer that. Shane Tomlin drops a $5 super chat and says this: this could be my last super chat. Boom. I want to say, if anyone advocates violence towards this man, their head looking at. Well, I don't think I'm advocating any violence towards. First of all, I appreciate you even listening. You're not required to drop a super chat by any stretch of the truth. Everyone is welcome here, whether you're going to just come out and hang out and drop, and you don't even have to say anything. So I appreciate the super chat, but if you want to stop doing it, listen, dude, that's perfectly okay. But I appreciate you listening to the show nonetheless. Sin Vendetta drops an outstanding and very generous $10 super chat that just went out of my way. Here it is. He says, the only thing I'll say about The Last of Us 2 is that I now need to buy an external hard drive for my PS4 because I don't have space for the 100 gigabyte download. Yeah, man. I mean, that's going to be a big game, but I think it's going to be well worth the space. And Jesse Darby, thanks for being here, dude. He says, boom, I love your content, and I've been watching you and your show for a year now. Keep up the great work and keep the great panel going and great chat. Well, thank you. He drops a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jesse Darby, for your generosity. Michelle Alexandria, thank you for being here. She drops a $2 super chat. Thank you for your patronage. It's certainly appreciated. So Mr. Bedford, why don't you answer that question?
Yeah, no, Sony's been hacked before. Sony gets hacked all the time. Services they're just not that great. Listen, it's not a cover-up. It's not like Naughty Dog on here, Jason, say this today. No, Jason doesn't need their money. It's not a cover-up. But if it is a person inside, and this is a crunch problem, the person that does need to lose their job would be Mr. Evan Wells, who is the president of Naughty Dog. He's the guy that runs the operations. That guy, if this is the case, no, he shouldn't be president. That he's running people ragged over there. So, to me, it's not. It's not Naughty. It's not Naughty Dog doing a counter like rumors. It's literally there's only. Realistically speaking, there's only a handful of people that actually know what happened, and those handful of people are right now too busy trying their best to suppress the leaks rather than try to run some counter op. Also, did anybody say they're going to hit this guy? No one's
I think he was talking about when Big Cloud saying he didn't care about the guy or whatever, he's not advocating violence towards the guy at all. This is just video games, folks.
Yeah, I didn't wish no harm to the guy. I don't know where somebody got that idea from. No. But
maybe it's when I said that Neil Druckmann
made
maybe knock out people's doors, hitting them in the nuts. He's not. That's figurative, Neil.
Yeah,
that's not.
That's figurative.
Yeah, some people did though. Keep in mind though, I don't want to sidetrack you, but some people did actually wish harm for him. They even said they want death.
Which is
on anybody who's actually sharing the leaks and whatnot. That was actually on Twitter. Some people
those are people that only see virtual death, and or
some people actually were saying that though.
To actually seeing something, because I'm pretty sure Boom can attest to this. If you actually see a crime scene, you wouldn't want to be in a crime scene. I'm talking crime scene.
Quite a few of them, and they gave me nightmares for weeks after being involved in them. So you know what, Mr. Badbit, let me just continue on with the panel because obviously I can tell that you're very passionate. You gave a fantastic answer. Let me bring in Crispy Bomb real quick. Now, Crispy, I'm going to change the question a bit because we talked about the leak. We talked about the potential of who the leak is coming from. We're not going to know. And we asked the question, what happens to Naughty Dog next? My question to you very simply is, once this game is out, there's going to be lots of changes within Naughty Dog. Big changes, I would imagine, simply because of this article that was released on May 12th, talking about this horrendous work conditions going on at Naughty Dog. I believe, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, but I want to hear yours. Do you think that all of this drama, all of this very public and unnecessary, spotlight looking, if you will, onto Naughty Dog is going to delay anything they do? Are you expecting a new game from them anywhere in the next 3 to 5 years?
Maybe on that 5-year end, but I mean,
me too.
This is kind of what Sony's known for. Nobody calls them out for it, but I mean, their dev cycles are pretty long for especially their big games, and not to say that that's not on purpose. They come out with great games, but what I'm saying is that you might see it on the even later end. We might not see any information about the next game they work on. They got stuff to work on in there. I mean, let's be honest for a second. All right. There's something going on, whether it be, their networking infrastructure or whatever. We all know that at this time, we got a lot of data going back and forth between people. Other people have to look at this. You don't know if somebody intercepted it halfway through. I have no idea. None of us do yet. Maybe we'll find out. If it's a disgruntled employee, shame on him. I mean, seriously, there's other ways of approaching this, okay? Because now you have ruined it for your fellow devs, for all the hard work you've put in. And I'm a manager, okay? I sign a contract, all right? I sometimes have to work 60 hours, okay? And I don't get paid for them all. All right. So if it's in the contract, it's there, and it sucks sometimes, but that's the way it goes. So in general, it could have been either or. And we, Jason Schreier saying one thing. I mean, like he said, he's not supposed to be working. So I don't know who's giving him the information, but that's besides the point. But there's another way. You could have put out another article. You could have been one of them people that left and went and talked to Jason and been like, hey, this is what's going on here, rather than spoiling a game for the masses. I mean, it would be like, for me, if somebody spoiled the Gears 5, some of the great tidbit, which I'm not even going to say because so many people are getting into Game Pass, they don't want to ruin it for them. But there's a couple parts in there you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? And those oh shit moments are what you go like, wow, man, like that. I couldn't believe that happened. It's almost like I always bring back the Sixth Sense at the end. You know what I mean? Like that at the end of that movie, you're like, what? You know what I mean? Now, some people got up before, but I mean, there's so many like different instances where this would ruin it for somebody that's really looking forward to this game. And another thing, people stop with the narratives because, and the only thing I have a problem with is a lot of people called out Gears 5 for the same things, and now they're defending Last of Us. So if you're going to have that same narrative, then you better stick with it, because I'm going to call you out, because I hate that. Like, dude, it doesn't matter if they're female, male, transgender, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever they want to go with it is their story, and it seems like a complete and total continuation of the story. Now, in general, the character handling, I don't know, but that's not the whole game. So go out and buy it, support the people that worked so hard on it, and enjoy the game, and try to avoid the leaks, because there's a bunch of a-holes out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen,
Just to add on what you said.
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
They said they were about the developers, but they don't want to support the game. Ain't that funny?
That's that's considered an oxymoron because
Exactly.
by supporting the devs, you go out and buy the game. That's how it works, folks. That's you don't go out there on social media and rah them and say, you know what, I'm just not buying the game. That's not the same thing. You show your support with your money. If it's a franchise that you enjoy and you are as devastated as a fan, you still go out there and you buy the game. I'm buying the game. I have the game already pre-ordered on my PS4. I didn't get the collector's edition because I don't really like her playing the guitar. I was hoping for her to be axing somebody or something, but you know. But you know, that's
like the original. Remember that concept art where it's like her in the bed and like looking at like a TV with the guitar.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been bad. I would have just rather her been something more action-esque, if you
Like
will.
a clicker attacking her.
But it's
Yeah.
like a throwback to the first one when he's playing.
Yeah, where she talks about she expressed interest in like learning stuff, and he goes, hey, "I'm gonna teach you how to play guitar. I think you'll like that." And then he got on this. So.
Yeah, I actually have the original statue right above me with Joel and Ellie. He's looking at her holding the shotgun, and she's sitting on like a mailbox.
That was more like a guardian
right
type of depiction of the game first, when she was younger. But
yeah, no, that's true. It's true. Well, you know what? Let's get King David in here because obviously, King David, we're all interested to hear your particular opinion on what is going on. What are your thoughts on this massive leak and you know, coming from a business perspective, because you obviously are self-employed and you have a few businesses under your belt and you are responsible for making sure that, you know, everything runs smooth. I'd like you to attack this from that point of view.
All right, so I'm not on the side of the worker. I'm on the side of big company. All right, so let's get that out the way right now. All right, but I can sympathize or empathize with the worker who decided that this was a thing that he needed to do. I don't know what level of desperation was going on. Actually, I don't even believe it was hacked or phased or whatever. I actually believe it was a leak. As it's too much information for it to be a hack. It's too much information and pictures and stuff like that for it to be, a phase type of situation. It's a lot of information. Now, for those individuals that clicked on the link, you got what you was looking for. For those individuals that felt that, they needed to know what's all the rage, you got what you're looking for. Because I have not seen not one hide nor hair of
Nothing.
this game.
No.
Not one piece, not one drop, anything of it, because I choose not to. Now, regardless to what, I'm going to purchase said game. I said I was going to purchase said game because I only wait for AAA bangers from Sony. Now, I know this is hurtful for a lot of you guys that waited for this game for 7 years or however long y'all been waiting for The Last of Us 2. And to find out that all this information is coming out because all you wanted to know was information for the game. All right. Well, you got what you're looking for peeking under the curtain. Don't peek under the curtain. All right. Now, as far as Sony could have stopped all of this. Let's put the blame squarely on the shoulders of the individuals that it needed to be on. You wanted to hoard all of your coins, right? Now, there is a possibility that if you don't get something out the door, the house can burn down. Look at what's happening now. The house is on fire. Now, had that game been released digitally when the game went gold and it was ready, none of this would be an issue. This would not be a talking point. This would not be something that we're going into. But because we need that 40% of physical. Because, financially, we need to make sure that everybody experiences this game at the same time. I call that hypocrisy because a lot of games are released digitally, then later on is released physically.
Yes.
For earlier pre-orders. All right. So don't give me this narrative that Sony needed to make sure that everybody was on a level playing field. Cut the crap. All right, they wanted to hold on to their chips. Now, this is what happens. This is the result of you holding on to your chips. Your chips is on the floor now. Now, how the hell do you pick these chips up, right? Now, for a lot of people, this it's going to sell anyway for diehard fans. So those people are not affected in any fashion. All right, maybe you saw something, but you don't know how you got to that point.
You don't have the context. Right? You don't have the full.
Exactly. You can see the Hulk laying on the floor from Thanos, but you don't know how he got to that part. Right. So this is story here, guys. This is beautiful story. You're going to play the story. You're going to live the story. When Boom had a Freudian slip early on, he said a movie.
Yeah, you see that?
Yes, this is a blockbuster.
Yes, it is.
This is
And,
a
and,
movie.
and to piggyback what you said, like that, you can apply this to like Avengers Endgame, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to launch the biggest movie of your studio, which is Avengers, right? And its biggest and like its best like quality form, but also in its biggest impact. So that's why I see them holding it back to launch in the bigger, you know what I'm saying, to launch it in its full strength.
We don't live in that
do it in if you launch it piece by piece,
anymore.
you're not going to get the full result. And keep in mind, these games have a budget.
That narrative is false, sir. Because if you look at the next Trolls movie that just was released, they sold 100 million digitally. That narrative is false. People are consuming things how they can consume it as much as possible, and you want these people to be pushed into a digital era. Now, when everybody, this is where the money is actually getting into the hands of the devs. Everybody is getting their piece of the pie when they're purchasing digitally. Yeah, if you want to,
but fans still want that. I mean, come on, you collect. You already know where I'm about to go because you collect figures. You collect, but fans still want that possession. They want to own that particular product. You know what I'm saying? This is why 40% would be even bigger too if they would have kept it. This is why they try to do it. I understand. I agree with you completely. I wanted the game early on as fast as I possibly could. When I saw the date getting to that point when they pushed it back, I was like, "What the hell? You know, why are we pushing this back?"
Definitely, right?
But
now you got a date now,
we have
right?
a date, but they were indefinite. We didn't even know when we were going to get it because they said it was COVID-19. We didn't know.
But you got a date now, right?
Well, I think I'm going to say this. No one's actually said this, and if they did, I missed it. But I guarantee you that they were going to wait for this for the PlayStation 5, and it's leaked forced their hand.
Didn't I already throw? I could just when I threw this out as like an idea on one of these shows. It was like a few shows ago. Did I not say something like this? PS5. This is something that's going to be like cross-gen.
Yes.
To launch. I honestly saw this probably being on the table for the longest, but the thing was they never got into their PS5 plans until I guess starting now they're going to start doing it because COVID-19. But
all right, so check this out. Bring it right back to you brought up comic books, right? So comic book shops are closed right now.
Yeah.
Digital comic book sales are up.
Yeah.
Actually, digital comic book sales has went up probably tenfold.
Yeah, yes, they actually have. They actually have gone up. Everything digital.
How you can. When you try to control a river, you're going to drown. And what Sony tried to do was control this river. The game was ready. I don't care. It takes one pissed off ant to mess up the anthill. One.
Yeah.
And that ant destroyed the whole house. Now, is it right? No, it's not right because it hurts the community. But a lot of times people aren't thinking about who they hurt when they're hurt. Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, that's true. Great point, King.
We don't understand or know his or her frame of mind because we are quick to say him. We don't know his or her frame of mind. Now, as far as the homophobia that's going on with this game, it's an avatar. It's a game.
It's a game, people. If that's not your bag, then just don't buy it. But don't attack it for subject matter. That's ridiculous.
Do that. The game has violence, so just be against violence. Then, if that's the case,
people were not even talking about that. They weren't talking about how insane, I'm saying, the game looked or the presentation or the value that you're getting. They were just talking about X, Y, Z, and this. I'm like, do y'all not see what they have accomplished on these, outdated pieces of hardware right now? And granted, you haven't even seen what I would say the true experience, which is going to be PS5, because that's going to be a day one PS5 up.
It is what it is. You're going to have to buy it again because they're not going to do their cross-gen smart packaging. So the fact of the matter is this. It was leaked. I don't believe they were hacked. I believe that's a nice narrative to say that, and to either show that the company is a little bit stronger, opposed to a weak individual, because then that leads to a whole other slew of questions on why. You know,
so it also looks bad on Neo because Neo is the head of the
absolutely 100%. It's his ship.
If
Yeah,
it's a
because
hack,
he took over from Amy. Amy Hennig was.
yes. If it's a hack, it's plausible during this time right now because information is being tossed across the web.
Mhm.
So and listen, when it smells like a lie, it sounds like a lie, it's a lie. All right.
Yeah.
But it's okay, and I understand it. And I would
Yeah.
do it as well if it's my company that needs to be shielded from this unfortunate event. Listen, again, I'm for big company. I thought big company was in the wrong, and this is what happens when you try to do stuff of this nature. A lot of times games get held back, but this is not the first game that has been leaked. This or the narrative or the information or what's going on with games.
Mhm.
We get this in this need to know era now. We get it more now than we did back then, where they had to write an article. They had to get on a phone call. They had to do a video reel.
You get snippets that always get leaked. And this is something that happens.
Exactly.
And but one thing I saw a lot of people push into they were saying that this does happen. And again, they're right. This does happen normal in the industry when we read articles like when we got the details for the new Assassin's Creed, which I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about today, right? One of the big issues was the setting was Vikings. And they said Ragnarok, and then when we finally got it, what did they do? They changed the name. It's not.
Well, that was the code name for the actual game.
Yeah,
that wasn't the actual full.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought that was going to be the full name.
I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and say I actually like Ragnarok better, but I'll play Valhalla.
But again, that happens.
To go into the narrative.
It's like you never see this from a developer. That's the thing about it. You never see a developer do something like this.
Well, okay, we don't know this.
I know what I'm saying, but this is true because think about it: a hack for the script and the way he described the script. I don't know.
Listen, it's a whole blanket. There's a lot of blanket statements going on.
Yeah, so
we don't know anything, and everybody is walking around here with assumptions of knowing everything. No, you don't know. So until an official statement comes out, which you will look at it with a quine eye anyway, this is still blanket statements. What we do know for fact is that the information has been leaked. Right. What we do know for a fact that there's trolls going on, passing it around.
Yes.
Now, if you are said troll and you are in the community, know this: when you hit send, you have the potential to be blocked from everyone. So know if you're going to relocate all your information to another account, do not hit send. All right, because you are offending a ton of people. You are offending that guy. I don't know how much the collector's edition costs, but that guy that put down all that money for the collector's edition and was told that he had to wait, and he said, okay, I'll take that one. And for you to come and leak that information right after that, that guy is looking at, damn, man, I put this much money up. And this
global event, and you just spoiled every single, what I'm saying? You spoiled every oh my God moment, you took everything.
Don't be that douche. Don't be that guy. Try to be a little bit better than that guy, especially right now when people are starving for any type of entertainment. Just don't be that guy.
Everybody's in a depressed state right now, and here you go pushing this shit. Like I don't get
this is again, it's one of those narratives that you shouldn't be happy or proud to push. If you are listening to this show and you've already done it, well, you can't. This isn't the end game. We can't go back in time. There's no gauntlet to go get.
They won't care. Like some of these dudes, they won't care unless it's something that they care about on their plastic of choice, whether it be like Halo. If Halo Infinite happened, we won't be. You know what I'm saying? No, it'd be
personally some information on Halo Infinite. And
I'm talking about the whole scope and this type of
people would be just as upset, maybe even more.
I'm talking about now. I'm not talking about snippets. I'm talking about like the scope of this.
Yeah, like if we find out like Master Chief shoots Cortana and
exactly
that would be
that people probably would have been blown away by, spoiled, tainted. You know,
like those people genuinely, they're a bunch of like crazed nihilists. They don't care. They're just there for they
want to be bad just to be bad.
Yeah, they want to be bad to feel important for 5 seconds, and then they realize.
Well, he's getting a whole lot. He or she is getting a whole lot more than 5 seconds right about now.
Oh hell yeah! Oh, yeah.
And then he's gonna be on his deathbed one day when he's 75 years old. He's gonna turn to his kids. He's gonna be like, "I was the leaker. It was me."
What I want to do is I want to move on to the next topic because obviously I think everyone on the panel has really put down what needed to be said. I think everyone had tremendous value points. Let me just let's move on to the next topic because it is a good one, and I just want to
Can I
catch
just say one thing? I know I've been saying a lot. I'm so sorry. Before I had to leave for just a quick sec. I agree 100% with King here. This blame is at the end of the day on Sony because they rather listen to their stockholders. Now, for me, and I still fine delay it because I don't want to go outside and Karen's there and she's yelling at me, right? Don't need that in my life. But I totally believe that Sony delayed it for the sole purpose that they wanted to have maximum money and max shareholder attention there. And this is the blowback to that. So I totally agree 100%. They should release this digitally.
Yeah, no, well, listen, I absolutely agree with that. But, real quick, Spider-Man drops an outstanding and very generous $10 super chat. And he actually said something very interesting because I think you're giving too much credit to the few that actually care about the LGBT in The Last of Us 2. The outrage that he sees online and is basically it's a slap in the face to the fans that love the original. So basically, what he's referring to is that the issue of the character of Ellie being gay, what's the big deal? This is 2020. I think more people are kind of trying to use that as a sticking point as opposed to the story itself being revealed. We already knew that she was gay. This isn't a big spoiler, folks. If you played the first one, if you played the DLC. It was exactly. If you played the game,
this was established in what? Left Behind.
Behind. That is absolutely correct. So again, no big spoiler there. I agree with him. I think that the cusp of the rage that people have, and not fake rage, not fake outrage, the actual disappointment and rage people are dealing with right now, is that this game was something that a lot of people, millions and millions of people, were looking forward to. A game that no doubtedly had anywhere between 3 to 6 oh my god moments in there built in, just like a feature film, and that has been taken away either by one person, a group of people, a phishing attack. Regardless of who did it, how they did it, and why they did it, it's still done. And at the end of the day, it's not going to curb me from buying the game. I cannot wait to play it. Again, like King, I have no idea because I clicked on nothing with the words naughty or dog or Last of Us in it. Nothing. Now, again, could it potentially be spoiled in the next 5 weeks? Well, shit, I hope not. I'm going to be honest. I hope that doesn't happen, but who the heck knows? But Sin Vendetta drops additional $5 super chat and says this: if Sony doesn't do smart delivery, that's going to be such a bad look for Sony. Oh my God, yes, I agree. Skywalker the Jedi drops an outstanding $2 super chat. He says, "Please let King David speak." And let's see what the last one that came in is. Kiss drops a $7 super chat and says this: to be honest, they could have given people a digital code for the game who pre-ordered it and sent them the physical disc or collector's edition later.
Thanks.
That is a very interesting point of view, but I think only because they have there's so many different companies that sell their games. I'm not sure how that would have worked, but let's move on to one of the bigger topics to go along with the Last of Us leak. Yesterday, in an again almost unprecedented and typical fashion, I might say, the company known as Xbox, who has been in third place this entire generation, just did the impossible and have been doing the impossible the last couple of weeks by retaining mind share in a way that has not been done in 7 years. The way that they have turned the heads of the community and even people who normally don't watch or want an Xbox are now looking, and that's because they have a new ideology on how they are going to present this box moving forward. And this is going to be a very different generation. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again and again. This is not a poke at Sony, because you guys and gals know that they're my go-to when it comes to the single-player, adult-themed, story-driven content. I love everything about what they do. But we are seeing, and I'm going to go to King first on this. King, we're seeing two companies. One is rising to the penthouse, and the other one is rising is going down to the basement. Now, we saw this in the beginning in 2013, where Sony was being risen up to the top, and they were eating caviar and champagne, and Microsoft was downstairs in the bottom eating scraps. That has completely changed. This is a complete 180, and on top of Sony, botching the logo, which I believe was a botch. They being forced. You guys talked about it on ILP about how that report stated that they were forced to show the controller. You talked about that, and now this leak, the black eyes. I don't know if they're gonna need glasses after this, because the black eyes been coming fast and furious, whereas Microsoft seems to be rising above everything. And then yesterday at 12 o'clock, just as we were going live on the Xbox Factor podcast, we had incredible news pop up. And I actually have a picture of that came directly from Xbox, and it said this: you want to see games for the Xbox Series X ? We want to show you the games for the Xbox Series X. Check out our first look for next-gen gameplay from our global developer partners within Inside Xbox on Thursday, May 7th at 8 a.m. Pacific time, which is going to be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. King, this is big news. It's big news because we knew an event was happening. We've been hearing for weeks that it was going to happen in the first week of May. Sure enough, the 7th day of May, we're getting this big event. My question to you, and will be for the chat as well as the rest of the panel. We know that we're hearing that it's going to be third-party heavy, second-party heavy, meaning that all of the deals with their partners for what we're believed to be second and third-party exclusives to some extent. And are going to be up there. We know Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, who just had their trailer, is going to be up there running on the Series X. Now, that's not an exclusive, but they do have the marketing rights. What are you expecting from Phil, Dominus, Maximus, Spencer, and soon to be Aurelius?
Guys, do you know how leadership changes things, changes narrative?
Yes.
Like a strong leader can change the tide. A strong leader can have you stand down and be ready to fight. Like y'all saw the trailer of Valhalla.
Yes.
And you saw a strong leader in the middle of the field, and the level of inspiration that he can give his warriors to fight harder, stronger, faster, to go above and beyond. And I'm going to give you a great visual from watching that trailer. When they looked over, when the warrior from the Norse guys was fighting, and it was fighting the English guys, I would give the English guys Sony. I would say Sony is that unbeatable juggernaut that was standing right there. And I'm going to give Phil the Norseman. And he's in the middle of the battle, and he's fighting, and one of the generals went down. And he was looking around like, damn, what can I do next? What's going to happen next? Then he looked over and saw Satya over there against the tree.
So basically, you're saying he says what? Who's with them?
Odin is with us. Odin is with this. The money is good. Attack. And they go in. And then Sony's not going down weakly. Sony's beating the brakes off old boy. Because early on, Phil was getting the brakes beat off of him. You guys was doubting him.
Yeah.
Not me. I stood there with my bayonet. Keep him going. Let's keep going. Let's stick around. And then what happened? When an overconfident juggernaut thought that the battle was won, out goes your eyeball. Now listen, let me tell you something. If you don't see it coming, that's on you. I done told you to look at what's happening. I explained to you what's going to happen next. And he is in his bag. He, meaning Phil Dominus Maximus Spencer, soon to be Aurelius, is in his bag. You're seeing the narrative of Xbox changing from the scrappy little underdog that was about to be stomped out to, oh my God, there's a whole different fight. This is a
You
whole
know what
different
this is.
champ.
You remember you read a lot of comics. You remember in the back of the comics they used to have that little comic bubbles where the guy was weak. He was a little skinny guy, and he was on the beach and he was getting sand kicked in his face.
Yeah.
And then the next summer comes around, he's this big guy, and all the girls are grabbing onto him. That's what this reminds me of.
And this is to be true. So we have the information that's stated again. First, Microsoft will be out the gate showing you games running on the X. This is crazy. If you would have looked a year ago and you would have tried to say how it was going to go, no one.
You crazy?
Yeah, no one, not one person, not even myself. I'm going to admit that, because for me to say anything other than this will be, because not in my wildest imagination that I think that Microsoft will be doing exactly what they're doing in the manner that they're doing it. This is like Sonny Liston versus Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. This is like that first fight that unbeatable juggernaut is making these missteps, and they're playing catch up. The games are going to be showed by their partners. We know this, right? We know that they picked up the Valhalla's marketing.
Yep.
Smart, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is this Assassin's Creed? And I love the direction of this Assassin's Creed, because I think everybody should be represented when it comes to Assassin's Creed. You know, Egyptians, Greeks. Now we have Norsemen. All of this stuff should be represented all the way through. You know, Italians. This is a great franchise. I love
Japan
the diversity.
Gotta be next. That's all I'm saying. I want ninjas, but we keep
samurais, then there's no hope for the franchise.
Well, I mean. It's gonna happen, and I will love it, because didn't they do an India one that was a side scrolling one?
Yes.
They
China, India.
They also did one with a female protagonist. That was on PlayStation Vita.
On my Vita.
Yeah. So they did expand, but they never really, you know what I'm saying? They never gave it a true respect in terms of like a AAA budget style, you know, like the scope. They didn't do it like that. And that's what people want. They want that bigger scope version of it. But what I do appreciate about the lore is that it's all connected, even though they kind of branched away from certain characters. They're still like referenced in the
lore.
Like statues. You know, you've seen like statues or
beautiful
dialogue
stuff.
It's still there. They're still building around it, but it's not necessarily centered, if that makes sense, about certain characters. It's not centered.
They had to in order for it to grow.
Yeah.
But look for just their partners. Look for smaller AA games to be shown. But all of this stuff should be running on the X.
Yeah,
Series
it
X.
yes. But you know what, Ken, I want to ask you something. For the remember, Phil said that they had a bunch of second party stuff that they were saving for a surprise. Like we know that they're gonna, the same way Sony, the PlayStation 5 currently has 2 games that we know of. Godfall being one of them. That's a year exclusive. And then we have the other one that's supposed to be like Dead Space, Quantum Era. Quantum Era is another one that's currently only a PlayStation 5 game. That I'm not sure if it's a launch title, but I believe that I think what we're going to be seeing, and I want to get your opinion on this. Do you believe that what we're going to see during this digital event are going to be the games that we will be playing within the first 6 months of the release of the Xbox Series X?
Yes, I believe that these are the games that are going to be on the launch that you can look forward to. The first wave, because it's going to be 2 shows. The next show is going to be in June.
Yes.
So this first show is going to give you games that you're going to be picking up, definitely going to be playing. And the next game should be the lead into the future on what's going to happen next into the future. This is very telling, because they also have a pocket one more show with, just in case Sony does do the rebuttal on the 13th, which I think they can come right behind and actually show something that's going to knock somebody's socks off, basically. I mean, that's all I have on that on the May 7th, because I believe everyone needs some type of information, and I know Microsoft has split that package up into 2. And the first package is going to be the partners and everything, because the narrative have been for the last couple of E3 is games, 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 and more games. But this time, when you control the narrative, you can see that games, 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 and more games will be shown. So,
yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see. I actually, like I said, we're doing a live event directly after it ends on Thursday. We have Mr. Badbit's going to be there along with Insipid Ghost, Zemi Games, and we have two other special guests that we're working on right now to get the. I'm just waiting for confirmation on those two guests, and it's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to that, Mr. Badbit. I want to bring you into the conversation because you and I we touched on it yesterday, but I want to. Kind of just change the question a little bit. The May 7th event is big for a lot of reasons. And you said, I believe it was you that said yesterday, going first is important, if I'm not mistaken. And I just want you to kind of just elaborate on that, because remember, Microsoft has been in the news for quite some time. They have really, like I said, and I said in the opening, they have turned the head of the gaming world, not just Xbox gamers, but everyone under that would consider themselves a gamer. Is looking at what Microsoft is doing because they're so transparent. What are you personally expecting to come from this May 7th event? How big do you think this is going to be?
So first, I want to big props to Phil, right? I know I didn't speak too highly of him yesterday, but no,
that's all right.
On a business end, he has done wonderful things for Xbox. Like if real talk, if it was not for Phil's business mind, we would not be here right now talking about Xbox the way we are. Like I remember the first year of the Xbox One, right? There was like rumors it'd be sold to Toshiba because Microsoft was just that bummed out with it. And how Phil Spencer turned around that narrative, plugged all the holes he could, got the water out of that ship, and now he's jumping ship to something that is actually his. And now we see his vision fully realized. Awesome. When it comes to like company third place, I expected this from them. Remember, they have nowhere to go but up. They have when you are in second place, when you're not winning, right? And I put that in air quotes because everybody's winning when they're making billions of dollars. But when you're not making as much money as your competition, you're going to do everything in your power to change that. We've saw that with the PS3. We've seen that with Xbox. We've even seen it with Nintendo, right? The Wii U. Woof. They will do drastic things to change the narrative to make sure that they get the most money as humanly possible, because that's their mission.
Well, it is a business at the end of the day.
Exactly. And that's why I'm always like, listen, when the pitchforks happen, I'm not protecting any of these damn CFOs and CEOs. Anyway, but yeah, so for me, watching this event is something that I've been cheering on the sidelines of, because I want Xbox to be aggressive, to set the narratives, to really hit back at Sony. Because for this whole generation, man, Sony's been killing it, and they have had no reason whatsoever to change some of their policies or make sure, like, for example, digital returns. They have no reason to do anything because they're in first place, and first place creates complacency. So, for Microsoft, they're hungry to prove themselves. Sony is hungry to keep their position. So, walking into this event, understand this: small. It's not going to be the huge big thing. It's not going to be like, oh my God, you're not going to see the Lockhart. You're not going to see the price of this thing. Here's what you're going to see. You're going to see games run natively on the Series X. And what I am very interested to see through the marketing lens and PR lens is how do they sell us on 4K 120 frames? How do they sell us on ray tracing? Like, that's the difficult thing when we have monitors that aren't like 4K HDR enabled. How do we sell them on these cool looking things that when we get them in our homes, we'll probably realize what Phil Spencer's talking about. How do we sell people on that? I think what we're going to see a lot of is things that we can visually see. So probably like something like ray tracing, but moreover, the thing that that Microsoft was talking about as well is that SSD. We're going to see things, and I know so many people like to yell at each other about the power of SSD. I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but what I will know is that they're both super fast, and what we will probably see is little to no loading for games like Assassin's Creed. But I do want to keep everybody's expectations in check, because remember, these games are like Valhalla, for example, is a PS4, Xbox One game. So realize that and take into account that we're not going to see the fully realized concept of what the Series X is going to be, because it is hindered by having these lower gen or current gen models out there. So see something rather surface level. Again, I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just trying to be super realistic and hopefully maybe underselling it a little bit. But I think we're going to see moreover than just a shinier coat of paint and a no load screens. We're going to see now everybody who's partnered with Microsoft.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Valhalla, sure. Are we going to see Elden Ring? Now, Joseph wants to see Elden Ring. Joseph loves From Software. Give me Elden Ring.
Are we going to see the rumored game that's being made by From Software that's exclusive?
Maybe that is Elden Ring. Maybe that is maybe. But you know, are we going to see Bloodborne 2?
That was insane.
It would be beautiful.
I put it this way: if somehow Bloodborne 2 was, I don't think they can, because I believe Sony owns the actual IP.
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That wouldn't happen. But if it did,
but
the internet's broken. That's it.
It'd be beautiful.
Could be something else. I mean, Bloodborne wasn't Bloodborne until they named it such, so it could be something else.
No, yeah, no, it's probably Elden Ring. It's probably like a Bandai Namco partnership. And then like, I don't know what Sony owns the Marvel one. One thing maybe we might see, who knows, because I don't know how long the exclusivity is between PlayStation and Activision. We may see whatever Call of Duty's next. Not being, being totally cross-play and being able to go anywhere and not taking any of the marketing rights. That could be a huge thing for Microsoft to show back again. And probably something out of EA. Because EA and Microsoft have a very long history together. A lot of their execs have been in both companies.
Titanfall 3.
Dude, Titanfall 3, let's do it. So, yeah, we're going to see the partnerships this holiday. We're not going to, I would love to see Fable. I'd love to see Halo, but I think Phil already nipped that in the bud. So
yeah, those are all coming in the June event. I think that was easily understood immediately.
Yeah. So for me, like, I can't stress this enough. This is going to be awesome because we're finally going to see what these consoles are capable of, because if one could do it, the other one can. So like, for me, I'm really excited to actually see firsthand what Microsoft's talking about of what they have planned for these games that are running proprietarily on the Xbox brand. But we're not going to see something that is going to break our eyeballs. That's going to be for the June event, where we're going to see games like Fable, games that are Halo, like Halo, that are running with the sole purpose of running on a Series X. That's where we're going to see something huge. And when it comes to PlayStation, oh boy, they're going to need to start talking about the anime. They have completely lost the narrative. They've never had it. And this moment for them is way more important than even Microsoft, because right now they seem not out of touch, but Microsoft has created the narrative. Now they need to either change it or show why they're the best place to play. So that's the one that I'm the most interested in, because I already know Microsoft has this pretty much on lock. They're doing great. Sony's right now kind of put themselves, to me, in sort of like an underdog position of like, dude, what are you doing? It's kind of like watching. I'm a Mets fan, right? Sometimes they give us hope, but then they never make it to the playoffs.
Then they ruin it for you. Yeah,
exactly. Is this the playoff moment? So, and like that's the thing, is like they need to show way more than
You just made Sony the Mets.
Exactly.
Oh no.
Listen, I'm not a sports guy. I don't know.
No, that's beautiful.
Okay, it's beautiful.
No.
You know what? Let's bring Crispy Bomb into the conversation, because
it.
Crispy, the one thing that I think has been missing from this particular generation, besides having a leader in the position of marketing, and we know that they have that now. And we've seen it. We've seen snippets of it, and just the aggressive behavior of Microsoft. It's uncanny. I'll say that word again. And my question to you is: during the Xbox 360 era, one of the biggest coat racks or hat racks, if you will, that they came and they dropped that big Xbox 360 hat on, the big green hat, was their strong second-party exclusives. And they had a lot of them. And we've heard Phil talk about them returning to the days where they did, in fact, make some big second-party exclusive deals. Not timed exclusives. It was just straight-up exclusives for the box and for the brand. And we know that we're going to, they keep saying we're going to be seeing, from our partners, our partnerships are going to be out there for, front and center running on the Series X. For you personally, is that something you want to see outside of the third party multi-plat games?
Oh, second party exclusives would be great, because I mean they were so successful in the 360 generation. They really they pushed them into at least competing with Sony when they were way far behind. I mean, this is like deja vu, people. You know what I mean? I mean, Xbox, the original Xbox, did not even come close to the PlayStation 2, and that's basically where we're at right now. And now we have a change in leadership. We have guns blazing, and I hope that we continue to be hungry as an Xbox needs to be, because in the end, PlayStation's gonna probably come back hard like they did in the PlayStation 3 era. So we have to realize that we're gonna see games like Cyberpunk. We're gonna see Valhalla. I am looking more in second party deals as far as putting games that are big games that have been out on Game Pass. I think we're gonna see something along those lines. Maybe you see one of the bigger Assassin's Creed to come out, Odyssey or one of them, and they're going to use this to build player bases. I mean, we've seen it. It's working. It's proven to work. And I don't be surprised we're going to hear about Game Pass. I think we're going to hear something about it, whether it's just what's coming in the next couple months or whatever. I'm hoping for a little surprise. I really am.
Me too. I think they're going to have it. I think they're going to keep the fire burning,
even if it's a logo. You know what I'm saying? Just to confirm to people, for the next show, you don't have to show anything else. Just a logo. Just say Fable. You know what I mean? Like, there you go. You know what I mean? That would be enough.
That's an E3 level moment for them, type of thing. That's something they was
like one last thing, and here's what you can expect at the next Xbox event.
Well,
and then it's just like Fable 4.
Yeah. And that's something I am super excited to see, because I usually watch on Mixer and it works to an extent, and I usually watch all these events on my TV, and from what I see from my phone, my TV, or even my laptop, the TV, bar none, it looks amazing, and I think I'm gonna have a good experience with what's going to happen, of them showing these, what the power we're going to get in the Series X.
I agree. I think they're going to show it off in the best footage possible. It's going to be a narrative and story controlled event. And I think Microsoft knows exactly what they're doing. This isn't going to be your standard inside Xbox. They're going to show the console. We already know what it looks like. I believe that the Series S, which is currently in take-home mode with their Microsoft program that they're currently testing it, they're going to probably save that hardware launch or release or unveiling, if you will, for the June event. The June event is all going to be Microsoft first party and whatever extra additional hardware they're going to be launching. I think we get a price. I think that we get a release date. I think we're going to get a locked in release date. And like King said, this two-pronged attack, which is one of my favorite, I should get a shirt made up by that. Is the smarts behind the two-pronged digital events is fantastic, because they're still controlling the narrative. If in fact Sony does have theirs on May 13th, very much like Sony has been reactive in the past, Microsoft can remain diligent, agile, and reactive and to counter what Sony does. And I think King's onto something when he says that on the 13th, when Sony does their thing, don't be surprised if on the 13th or the 14th to pull that narrative back, or turn that head back to Microsoft, that they don't put something out that's big. Whether that's a digital event or an Xbox Wire or an interview with Phil or Aaron or something big is going to happen either the day before, the day of, or the day after, to continue to turn that head. But Big Cloud, let's get you in on this particular topic. Now, obviously, we all know what Microsoft has done. They have really gone out of their way to change the narrative and changed what they did in this generation. For you personally, what are you expecting from Microsoft, more specifically Phil Spencer, to show at this event?
So from the vibes I'm getting is very similar to Inside Xbox, only not necessarily kind of like a more controlled aspect of this, maybe. So I don't think Lockhart will probably be talked about at all. More likely they'll just focus on the second party deals. They'll focus on a few things for the first party. I don't think they'll show anything super new, but you'll see like the features that they didn't get a chance to actually show themselves. They'll show off some other games that we probably heard a few things about, and probably something like that. That's what I'm kind of expecting. I'm not expecting anything super, super big right now. And the reason why is because you keep in mind, they did say they're going to focus strictly on their games in their other event. This is kind of like a teaser, or not a teaser, but kind of like the final bits of what you already have.
There's an appetizer.
Yeah, it's basically like it's like it's not the entree. It's the appetizer. It's to get you up there, get you ready. Just to get you through the long wait you have to wait for when we eventually get to that particular show. Now, you guys said something. You guys said Sony might do something right after this. It's interesting you said that, because did y'all see Jeff Keighley?
Yeah, he actually just launched. So he just Mr. Badbit actually sent it over. It's they're doing something called Summer Game Fest.
Yes. So Summer Game Fest supposedly is going to be going on from May through August.
Yes.
And keep in mind, we have not gotten a hardware reveal. We have not got anything of that nature from Sony. So obviously, if they were smart, I would probably obviously do a PS5 event very, very soon, showcase the hardware, showcase what the form factor, what it looks like, and you talk about XYZ, the features, and then you focus on the games if you need to. In this particular way, you can use Summerfest to get that information out there to the consumer. I would do something like that, just to get the information out there as quick as possible. As far as like what they're going to have, that's a toy cost at this point. There's so many people with quote unquote inside sources. So I don't know to tell you. What can you do about those people, man?
Well, I mean, look, I'll say this. With this, again, now my ideology changes, because I think that the June event is going to be all games. I think that during this Jeff Keighley scheduled show, or going the few months of shows that he's going to have, I can see the Series S being revealed there, the same way that the X was revealed on the Game Awards. And I think that's a potential for that. Now that we have confirmation that Jeff Keighley and I Am 8-Bit is teaming up to put this thing together, which makes sense as to why both of them originally had pulled out of E3 before it was canceled, because they were doing something in the background. I can actually see the S being revealed at one of these live events that he's going to have, simply because, again,
you have to acknowledge his existence eventually, right? You got
do, yes.
And all this talks about it. We always keep hearing conflicting reports. We have people saying that it does exist. You got people saying it doesn't. If it does exist, then you're going to have to eventually show.
Well, again, the report that I'm referring to came from Jez Corden of Windows Central, that he has on good authority that the S is in take home protocol right now.
Oh,
so people are so that people have it. They have a Microsoft program where their employees get to take home the devices before they're released.
So
to test it out.
All access, maybe Xbox.
It's certainly possible. You never know, but I think that, again, whatever is going to come out on this May 7th event is going to be big.
It has to be retained today, because that's another thing that was going around.
It's not going to be that
to push that.
It's not. You're not going to get the Series X on the 7th.
No, I don't expect that.
No, that's about the service. That's about the service.
Oh, okay,
yeah. The service is something that's been like talked about numerous times, like a revamped all access. You pay monthly.
Oh,
payments console. That might be their way around to get the Series X in your house sooner than later. Pay off the.
Yes. Well, they did explain it to you a long time ago. If you picked up the Xbox One X, and when the Series X came, you just trade it right back in. And I don't think that was pushed hard enough to get the stock out to to close down the stock on this the Xbox One X, and to set people up going forward. Because what happens is, and I think this is smart, because a lot of their games should be delayed during this period of time. And you're going to lean heavily on your third-party partners and your second-party partners. This is why they're going first. You're showing them that you're putting them first going forward, that they are valuable and you need them. The same way Sony leveraged indies in the beginning of the PlayStation 4. You make sure that you show your partners that you're in their corner. You show them that support, because they are vital to your survival in the beginning, while you cultivate your AAA titles that will be coming later. So when you take your company and you put it in the background, and you take the company that you're partnering with and you put them forward, that builds a good relationship between the two, because you're showing the second company that you're putting their interests first.
Yeah,
that you're going to eat anyway, but you want to make sure that they get a chance to eat first. And when that happens, when you serve your guests first in your home, that lets them know that they're welcome, and they will always be willing to come back to your house.
It's basically the same thing what Sony did to start of this gen. Remember the PlayStation Loves Indies initiative?
Yes.
That? It's pretty much the exact same thing. Microsoft's going to have, didn't they have if I'm not mistaken, they had the marketing rights for this year's Assassin's Creed, right? This is for they're doing it, so they'll more likely do this for Valhalla, and obviously another one, which was Cyberpunk's a big deal for them, so they'll rely on those heavily to push the console first, and then see the bigger ones down the road. But again, you still have Halo as another thing.
Yeah, that's we know those is coming, but watch smart delivery be talked about.
Oh yeah. That's
we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that in a second. We're going to be talking.
I don't think Sony would be dumb enough not to have that.
Well, it's up to the developer.
If it isn't there, that is definitely a point that's not going to be refutable. It's like
also, if I could just. The whole reason why this event is coming out in the first place is because all the devs and publishers want to start advertising their games.
Exactly. And
they are getting tired, and they are if all accounts are correct, they are getting right now at this point fed up with Sony. They want to start releasing their games. They want to start promoting these games. They want to start promoting the next gen. This is why these events are going to happen. PlayStation, Microsoft, you could bet they're going to have 2, 3, multiple events, whether it's in-house or the Summer Game Fest, right? From May through August, you'll see the likes of 2K, Activision, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, some other logo I can't read, EA, PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Riot. You're seeing them all. Square Enix, like WB. we're gonna see that Batman game. So like,
Batman games, yeah, that's not gonna be. That's a real bummer. I would love to see that here. At this Xbox show.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I
fun.
think that we are all going to be unbelievably surprised by who they have teamed up with. And again, a couple of years ago, if you remember, when I first started podcasting, one of my biggest complaints, besides the marketing, and for good reason that I complained that marketing was the way that they moved away from the marketing rights deals. And if you look what they did in 2018 and 2019, they have completely did a 360, no pun intended, to what they did on the Xbox 360, where they are now grabbing and spending the cash on all of these. I mean, just think about this for a second. Assassin's Creed is a multi-plat, sure. It is one of the biggest franchises in gaming, regardless of whether you personally like it or not. If it's one of my all-time favorite. Ubisoft is one of my top developers, so I'm looking forward to this. But when you look at something,
it's nothing new to this happened before. We saw this with Assassin's Creed Origins with the Xbox One X. I remember that they was pushing that, and it always happened. Ubisoft, it's like it's a game of tag with Ubisoft. Like one company has it, the other one has it the next year. The year after that, the other company has it. That's what they usually do. They tag back and forth between both particular brands.
Keeping that energy rolling, let's move into the next topic, because we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed. Okay, because yesterday, we saw a tease from Boss Logic on 2 days ago where he did the cover art. And if you don't know who Boss Logic is, he's one of the finest artists I think I've ever seen. He does a lot of work with Marvel. He's done some DC stuff, and he's apparently teamed up with Ubisoft, where he did this teaser picture regarding Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And, I'm going to say this. Yesterday, they released 2 unbelievable video reveals concerning Ubisoft's next addition to the long-running franchise. And we actually have some good some interesting information that King was talking about. So let me bring this in, because a community good guy known as Benji Sales has confirmed that Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be one of the another addition to the Xbox Series X smart delivery system, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal simply because it's letting people know that when this game comes out in the fall, and they didn't give an official release date, so we don't know if this is going to launch alongside the new consoles or this is going to launch maybe sometime in September, maybe October. If you buy it for the Xbox One, you will be able to take advantage of this. And it is going to be having this confirmation is something I think is going to be. I'm not sure who said it, that the smart delivery is going to be a big topic. I believe that was BitCloud. That's going to be a big pushing point for.
Yeah, they'll definitely rely on that to because remember they want this. Obviously, they're going to want the same thing Sony wants, right? That transition, from
of course they do.
This gen to the next gen to be seamless. So you will want that. You will want to talk about that.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and it's smart to get out in front of this and show the people that, of course, that this is going to be a big deal moving forward. Real quick, before I bring in, I'm going to bring in Crispy Bomb first on this. But Tempest Sun drops an outstanding, very generous $10 super chat, and he says this: Phil needs to make a deal with Bandai for exclusive rights to Blue Protocol. Take it from me, the MMO guy. It's the next big MMO. xCloud plus deals like this put them in a strong position in Asian markets. Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. And I think that's going to be big. But Crispy Bomb, did you get a chance to watch either of the 2 videos I sent in the DM? And more importantly, are you surprised or more so impressed that not only is Assassin's Creed Valhalla going to show up at this May 7th event, but apparently it's going to be running in 4K and a locked 60 frames per second. What are your thoughts on this?
Man, Valhalla, I watched it. I mean, do you want to get me back into Assassin's Creed? You may have, because Black Flag, the darkness in that game really I love Black Flag. Black Flag's one of my favorite. And,
Same here.
That's the thing that I felt was missing in the past 2 games. It looked beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, Assassin's Creed, for me, has been this Dark Days type game, like fighting the good fight and being against all odds, and the grand scheme of things, like when it's dark and gritty, like it is, what they've shown so far, it really grabs me and says, I want to get back into this.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to what they're gonna. I think they're gonna talk about what the game. We're probably gonna see some gameplay. I think, the Lock 60. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how important that is. And especially in a
game look totally different.
Yeah, and especially in Assassin's Creed game, I think it's gonna be huge. You know what I mean? And to be 4K, I think we're gonna see some really great. I think there's gonna be some ray tracing elements that they're gonna show.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So. In general, it's very exciting because, like I said, I haven't really felt that dark and grittiness in a long time from Assassin's Creed. And, that really, it seems like there's going to be a really good story. And I hope they go back to where, it feels a little bit, they kind of get you to go where you're supposed to, in their own way, kind of, take out so many side quests and stuff like that. And hopefully we get to see some really great things.
Yes, I'm expecting great things. I don't know how anyone else on the panel feels. I happen to really enjoy Origins, but I absolutely loved.
Odyssey was really, really good.
I put 200 hours into that game. I kind of backed off. I have to finish the DLC. There's a few pieces of DLC I have to go back into and play, and I'll be glad to do that because that game was amazing from start to finish. Big Cloud, let's bring you in the conversation here. What are your thoughts on the impressive trailer? More importantly, confirmation that we're going to get Norse mythology in the next Assassin's Creed. Are you excited?
So I'm getting God of War vibes with that.
Yeah, I said that at the beginning. Yeah,
God of War vibes.
Nothing wrong with those kind of vibes.
This is cool. Odin, Thor, that'd be dope for this game. Kind of interesting how they're going to go about the story. Are they going to be trending into, your ancestor actually being a god type of thing? Maybe. Who knows? But that's cool. It looks good. The cinematic trailer really looks great. They're really getting insane with these trailers. They're like
they really are. They're
with films. Like they had some Avengers Endgame graphics in that. Let me tell you, it looked really, really good. But I'm hyped for it. I really am hyped for it. I played Odyssey. Odyssey was really, really good. Origins was good. Added those to the list of platinums. Pretty much platinum the entire series. So.
Yikes! Wow,
they're adding this. Yes, I know the lore. I'm looking forward to it. I really want one in Japan for sure. So hopefully we get one after this. But
that would be dope. I think they know we want an Asian focused.
That'd be cool. They focus. That might be their they're probably waiting for Ghost of Tsushima. Take some inspiration. You never know.
Yeah, well, again, Ghost. I'm not sure when that was being made. It's been being developed for quite some time. But you look at Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. The HD the HD remaster of course.
It's a lot of games you could take inspiration from. I really want to see the gameplay. The gameplay is really going to be the testament of how much this game has evolved from Odyssey to now.
No, you know what? It's gonna be interesting. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna have to at least be some sort of ship combat, which I actually like. A lot of people didn't like it. I happen to really enjoy it. I'm looking.
Yeah, I see that being a focus because they showed a lot of concept art for the ships, so I can see ship combat still being a huge thing, which is great because I love what they've done. Like me personally, the best ship combat in the series was Black Flag. Period. Like I love
it was fantastic.
Like, there's so much you can do with with the mortar strike from the you can
be the fishing part. I like hunting the sharks and the whales.
Yeah, I love that. To be honest with you, hunt exotic sharks and all that stuff, and then you can if you were lucky and you triggered the event, you can hunt the white whale. Remember that?
Whale, yeah,
that was cool. So you can do a lot of cool stuff, and that's what I would like to see bring back, or hell, even let you dive underwater.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. And go for treasure type thing. I remember that. Like that's something they could have done. So possibilities are endless with the franchise. Really, they want to go back to a particular setting. I wouldn't mind them going back to the pirate setting. I thought the pirate setting was really, really cool for them.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Listen, nothing wrong with
absolutely.
nothing wrong with a pirate ship and you being the captain of it, and that in fact was the
Full
case.
customization, robbing, looting. Because you remember, like, even the character you played as, what was his name? I forgot his name. The assassin in that one, but it was Edward Kenway.
Edward, yeah.
When you play as Edward, remember Edward was he wasn't even an assassin to begin with. He was just a
No,
bad.
he was a regular dude. Yeah.
He killed a Templar who was an assassin, imitated him, and then all of a sudden he's an assassin because he earned the robe. So that was a cool story. I like that. But again, go with that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. King, let's bring you into the conversation. What are your thoughts on the new Assassin's Creed? Are you excited for the franchise to move to Norse mythology? Kind of possibly mimicking, what we saw in God of War, and possibly even expanding on it, right? Because we saw the shadowed figure move away from the tree in that in the video. No real spoilers here. You can watch the video right now, and he rallied all of his troops. What are you expecting from this next Assassin's Creed? But more importantly, are you happy to know that it's going to, pardon me, that it's going to retain this new smart delivery system that Microsoft is pushing hard?
Well, it's available for all developers, smart delivery. And it's nice to see that developers are embracing the ideology of
Especially the big
Microsoft at this time.
companies.
Yeah, so it's very important. It's consumer friendly. This is telling you that your purchases do matter, that you are counted, and I think that any company that decides to go this route will see huge benefits for the common people. We are the common people, right? The common people is the person that still has a regular OG Xbox, right? That's couldn't afford to upgrade.
Or
But
maybe they
once
didn't want to either.
oh yeah, well they didn't see the value in upgrading. Maybe they don't have a 4K television. Maybe the circumstances didn't help them out right now, especially right now, right? But you want to know that, okay, if I purchase something right now, because I can't afford $600 or $500 for a console right now, but I could afford $60. And I could get this game and I could play it right now. And knowing that in the future, when I do upgrade, all I got to do is just pop my disc in and it magically upgrades itself to that version, that high fidelity version, with all the bells and whistles that's taking advantage of the new hardware I just plucked all my hard-earned money for.
Mm-hmm.
This also allows people to know that, okay, at launch, if you buy all these games that are telling you ahead of the launch, let's say the launch is in November 15th, they're always Microsoft's around that time in November. And these games is coming out in September all the way to October, November. And you're purchasing at least 6 to 7 games that has smart delivery. Well, look who has a huge Christmas tree under their daggone TV right now. You do. Besides the fact that you have Game Pass, you have this incredible, great gift that's going to keep on giving. Now, when you pop that disc in, boom, this happens. But as far as Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I was going to call it Ragnarok. I believe in the old gods, right? So this stuff is beautiful for me. This stuff is allowing us not to forget our past. This stuff is like you saw Odin turn into the crow, and you're gonna wonder why Odin is depicted as crows, because he's always looking through the 2 crows that's on his shoulder. And it's a whole thing, and I hope they dig deep into this mythology. I hope they give you everything that you want out of that mythology, because they gave it to me in Origins, and they gave it to me in Odyssey with the Greek mythology. So if you was going deeper into the lore, I love this fact because it's a segment of the population that wants to be represented. And if you don't know what Thursday is Thor's day. Wednesday is Odin's day. And you're going to start getting all this information and all this stuff and awakening yourself to understand where these stories come from. Maybe it might tell you you might want to go read a book about it. So I love the fact that the studios are taking this approach to this franchise, and it started off with Origins, that
Yep.
they decided to go in this route, and they expanded on it in Odyssey in unimaginative ways. Odyssey, you can still play it right now. That's the never-ending game. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
it really is, man. There's a lot to do with that game.
An historically accurate Hella in this game. I mean, that's just
What I'm looking for. I'm looking for a ton of things from this game, but I want to know how the combat system changed, because when you're talking about Vikings and you're talking about Norse gods, well, that was the contrast in the depiction of them.
Yeah.
When you were watching the trailer.
Yeah.
You know,
they were doing a lot of crazy stuff. Like
right. But
it's probably like For Honor, bro. You play For Honor?
Yes, yeah. That's
it
what
might
it looked
be
like.
moves similar to For Honor, like those crazy like shoulder bashes with the shield.
Let's
stuff like that.
let's hope so. But when you was looking at the narrative of the story, you had the Englishmen explaining that they were savages, that they were brutal, that they were ungodly, and that they were a plague on the land.
Yeah.
But when you saw it from the Norsemen's perspective, you saw that they were family oriented, that they were building on your land, that they were God fearing,
that
they were loving.
Yeah, they actually had a vision for the future. Exactly.
Yeah. So you have these two contrasting ideologies, and who's going to win? Of course, you know, this Valhalla. Yes, you expect the Norsemen to overrun England, but this gives you such a dynamic side. Maybe they give you the chance to pick the opposing side, because you saw two different.
You know what's
views.
funny? You should say that, King, because I mentioned that to someone, and someone's like, "Oh, I didn't really get that." I'm like, I kind of saw that they showed the knight on the ground. They brought the cloak onto his head, and he got up, and then it changed its view to the Viking. And I'm like, man, could you imagine if you could play this game from both perspectives?
Yeah, like you two different characters, it switches back to forth.
Yes, because in Odyssey they approached that with the male and the female characters, right?
Yeah.
And you had the story. Imagine they got it so well. They did it so well that you can have two opposing views with two totally different outcomes. Because how do you outdo Odyssey? By going with two totally different views on attacking. Like you start off the game now on the English side, or you start off the game now on the Norseman side, and you play their story, and you learn to feel for the Norseman, you learn to feel for the English side. I think if that happened, I'm definitely, you have my money. You definitely have.
Kind of like
Odyssey
missed the point. Odyssey, it's basically the exact same dialogue, just a different character. You know?
Right?
Yeah, same character. So that would be a cool evolution for it to like swap back and forth between both factions, and that way, instead of you just building this automatic cape for one side, like okay, this is obviously the enemy. You know, it'd be kind of like what they did with Assassin's Creed Rogue. Remember how Assassin's Creed Rogue made you look at the assassins a little cross-eyed, like, are they really this perfect the way they're depicted? Because you know they were kind of heartless when a whole town of innocents, including kids, was sunk in the water because of the artifact, which was the apple, which is one of the artifacts. So
but that means that the story writers, that means the storyboard, they learned something. They learned that in order for your ecosystem to grow, in order for you to actually reach the people, they have to feel on both sides. They have to feel the motivation for each character. Like the king. Why did the king put this edict? You have to understand why. You have to feel for him defending his people. You have to feel for the Norsemen for why they're invading this country. Is it because they ran out of resources where they were and they're looking to survive, not just to conquer? So you have all these motivations, and I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a really fantastic points.
You know what I like to see too, though? Them actually tackle a certain component that they couldn't do this gen, but they started off promising with. Yeah, I remember Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yes,
and the amount of NPCs in the world.
Yep.
Oh yes.
I would love to see that added into this game to add way more life to the world.
That's another great point. I think, but with both of the consoles, the new consoles, they're going to be able to do things.
Yeah.
that they've never done before, and the game, this next game is going to be big for both the PlayStation 5
that'd
and
be
the
bigger for the ones going forward, especially if we're talking about like them going into China or Japan.
Yes.
Like them disappearing. Remember how that was a big thing, disappearing into crowds?
Yeah,
That would add
I
a
want to
better
know.
mechanic to it.
I want to know how the Jaguar CPUs hold back the level of dynamicness that can actually be achieved with these new Ryzen CPUs. You understand? Because they're still being.
They'll just cut stuff out though. I mean, they usually just add like you know how you see like the finer textures in the higher product.
Well, I'm not even talking about the textures wise. I'm talking about the CPU, because this was our main bottleneck now.
Yeah.
Our main bottleneck was the CPU limitations of the Jaguar CUDA cores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get a DLC that is only for next gen only, where you can actually see the dynamic range of how the interactive intellect of the NPCs in the world actually interact with you?
Nah, that's a thing. That's the thing. Like, I'm hearing this and like I'm putting on my business suit and I'm like, nah, that's for the sequel.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for the one after this
You can't
when
go
we
all out now.
Where it's
we
going to be
shed
next
it.
gen only.
You can't go fully out, because otherwise, it would have been impossible to make it work on the current.
You have to wait till they shed these this generation.
Yeah, that's the problem of having a weaker system. You always gotta make sure it works and actually includes that lowest common denominator, which is the lower end specs. So I don't know. I mean, depending on what we saw in the cinematics, I'm not disappointed so far. So I just want to see the gameplay, but I don't think I will be. Ubisoft usually does deliver in this ways. So
and I believe they're going to deliver again. And let's bring in Mr. Badbit to close out not only this topic but today's show. Before I do, I got to thank Michael Snow with the outstanding $5 super chat, and he says this. In Assassin's Creed, you do have to play the older ones to get the newer ones like Origins and Odyssey. Oh, he's asking. No, I don't necessarily think you don't have to play the originals.
Origins talks about a few characters that, ironically, you probably wouldn't even notice or you probably didn't even know about, because they're in Mount. I forgot it was like the headquarters in Assassin's Creed 2.
Yes.
But y'all remember the secret vault room that has Altair's armor?
Yes.
There's statues around the armor.
Right. Yes. Where you had to actually find the puzzle to get it.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you have to. I think that if you go back a couple, you'll get the gist of it. I definitely would suggest playing Origins and Odyssey, because that's where they made the change over to it being an action RPG. And that's, I think, where they're going to go with Vikings. And another super chat came in from J Boy on the Run. He drops a $5 super chat and says this: you're all talking about ACV like you've never seen the series Vikings. The main character in Vikings is the ASV Viking character in Assassin's Creed. Yeah, you know what? I've never seen Vikings, but because of this, I'm probably going to check it out. But Mr. Badbit, let's bring you in on the conversation and we get everybody on out of here on another successful 2-hour Breakfast with Boom. From the two trailers, what did you gather in regards to the route that they're taking for Assassin's Creed? Are you excited to be and continue in the Norse mythology like you did when you were playing through God of War?
Yeah. So I didn't get God of War vibes, surprisingly enough, when watching this game. So that's cool. For me, let me turn on the camera. See my beautiful face. For me, I'm not a huge like Assassin's Creed person. Like, I'm kind of like the opposite of BitCloud. He's platinuming every single one. I'm lucky if I played Odyssey, but like I want to now. And Odyssey was a game that I got deeply into, and then Red Dead came out, and I totally forgot to go back to it. But Valhalla has this. I don't know, this. It feels different. It just looks, not to say beautiful. It's dealing with a time in history I like. So I definitely love British history. It's my jam. So seeing how they're using that, like, you know, not alternative history, but like the history that we're not accustomed to knowing, the other side, because we always know Vikings as this brutal race, when in actuality, like, yeah, that's certainly true in some aspects, but like there's more to them than just that. So to see them tackle that, and from what I've heard from some of the press releases, this is a game where you get to choose what type of Viking civilization you actually want. Do you want your civilization to be more agrarian and like just like be farmers and peaceful, or do you want them to be the conquerors? You get to kind of, what it sounds like, you got to kind of get to create the story about how you're creating this, or the story surrounding how you create your civilization, and that is the in the weed stuff that I'm really into. So that has my curiosity. This game is a day one purchase for me. Now that I'm quarantined, I have no excuse but to go back to Odyssey on my PS4. and this is my biggest concern. What King said. How is Sony going to attack smart delivery? Are they just going to call it cross-buy? Because it's like Sony's in this weird position where they've been super progressive in some things, like cross-buy when it was PS Vita cross-buy situation. So like they've been pretty cool in the past, but at the same exact time they are in first place. First place typically, you could sit on your hands a little bit, but from what I'm reading, the temperature in the room, I definitely think cross-buy is going to be a thing on PlayStation 4 to 5. I think it's going to be a dev to dev call, but I do think that if Sony does not do that, that is a huge, and I'm saying huge misstep. I don't know if it's on the level of the Xbox One DRM stuff, but it is a huge blow. That to me, it puts Sony in a really, like, as a person that would be buying a PS5 day one, this would actually turn me off to, well, maybe actually I hold off until, vote with my wallet here and then show the big corporation I'm not just gonna, give them a handshake or whatever. So that's my biggest mystery around this game, is what will PlayStation 5 do for us, the consumers, when these games come out? Will it be like a $10 upgrade? Or will it be like, hey, just this is yours for free? Because Ubisoft has stated they, your not Resident Evil. Why always think it? Rainbow Six copy will work on your PS4 and your PS5. It'll have a PS5 version. So it kind of seems like all the devs are just, again, turning at Sony going, all right, dude, come on, buck up your shut up here. We're waiting for you here.
But they can't charge for upgrade.
What's that?
They cannot charge for an upgrade, so you can't say, okay, well, you brought this disc, give me $10, and you can't charge for an upgrade. So that's wherein lies the crux, So Sony doesn't get a penny from the upgrade, but what they do is foster good relations in the community, because that cross-buy, that was great. When I purchased the game and I was able to do this, I thought that was fantastic, and I don't understand why they wouldn't have the same philosophies. But again, and I'm gonna keep stating it, it's not the same people at the top. It's totally different people, man.
And that's, so the one thing I'll say there is, not the same people. Also not same people at Microsoft. It shows, man. It's fantastic to see what Phil Spencer's doing there. But when it comes to the thing that scares me about cross-buy is, again, PlayStation guy here, man, their infrastructure is not great. And so, like, is it they can't do it because they're not able to, or they can't do it because they're being ignorant about it? Like, that is my only fear. They got my
servers now, man. They good, man.
Oh, God, King, I pray every day that's the case. But like, that is my only concern going into next gen, because that is, to me, the ultimate deal breaker. Like, I don't care about the teraflops. Yeah, like I don't care about the teraflops. I don't care if these consoles, I get them, they do like backflips and shit like that. Like, I want to know that my money is, when I make that handshake agreement, going, okay, because I'm very much the consumer of like, all right, now I'm not, again, Phil Spencer ain't my friend, Jim Ryan ain't my friend. we're walking into this because you're giving me something. I come to PlayStation for their exclusives. I like your exclusives, but I will purchase my games third party on Xbox if you're not treating my money with that respect. And if that is the case, and you know, like I love Horizon Zero Dawn, but like if Xbox is going to respect my wallet this generation, coming more than PlayStation, at least in the beginning, oh yeah, I'll be buying a Series X at launch before I buy a PS5 at launch for sure. But that's my biggest concern.
You got bigger balls than me, sir. I'm sorry right now. I'm bending knee. I don't care what it is. I don't care what they're doing. I'm a tech head. I'm purchasing day one. And if it sits in the corner and gathers dust, God bless, good luck. But I can't look at them in the eye and say no. I can't
I wish I could quit you. My thing is, I just don't know the money situation right now.
Right, no one does. Right now, it's tough for everybody.
So my wallet is like concerned.
No, mine isn't. My PlayStation is out of here. The place, you sir, your days are numbered. As soon as your big brother shows up, you're out the door, baby.
King, I love you so much.
Well, listen, gentlemen, I want to say this. This has been a rock solid 2 hours of really fantastic gaming opinions that did not have agendas, that simply just talked from a gamer's point of view. I loved every minute of it. I hope the entire chat loved that. We had 400 people live for today's show, which is fantastic. Let me just get these 2 super chats and we'll get on out of here. Sir X-Men drops a $5 super chat and he brings a great point. He says, Ubisoft needs to stop playing and just give us a Splinter Cell. This is getting seriously old. 9 to 10 years without a Splinter Cell doesn't make sense. I agree. Pixelbit G drops a $2 super chat and says this, hi guys, just remember 2 different SKUs. Yeah, I believe that's going to play a big part. So let's get everyone out of here and we'll start with BitCloud Gaming. BitCloud, you, my friend, bring a lot of passion, especially in today's show when we were talking about The Last of Us 2, and I love that about you. You also have a program that's going to be going live at 5 Eastern today. Why don't you tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, but more importantly, check out your live show on Friday afternoons.
Yeah, show was fire. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Bad Bit, obviously Crispy, who's been quiet this whole show. I wonder why. I wonder why. Maybe because me and David stole all the topics. I don't know. No. So, obviously, David, that's my brother there. Good to talk to everybody. It's always good to see everybody. Glad everybody's safe. If you guys enjoyed the show, hit that like button for sure for Boom. And you guys should follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/BitCloud Gaming. Same on Twitter. And RGT Podcast episode 112.
Nice.
5 p.m. Eastern time. Can't wait.
Nice. Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that. I'll be in the chat as always, listening to what you guys are going to be talking about. Hopefully, they're going to be the hot and tasty subject matter that we had on today's show, and I don't doubt that at all. JD Gamer comes in at the last second, drops a $5 super chat. Thank you, JD, for the generosity. He says, just dropping through, hit that like button. Yes, if you enjoyed today's show, please hit the like button. King, let's get you on out of here, my brother. You have something big happening this Sunday. ILP is going to be new. It's going to be fire, and there's going to be a lot of screaming. Just like the last 2 weeks, we've seen some real battle royale-esque situations where, occasionally you will go into what's considered Addict's World and come out scathed a bit. Tell everyone where they can watch that show, but more importantly, check out your other content and follow you on social media.
Great show, guys. As soon as Boom hit me, and I didn't notice, I don't know why I didn't see the text, but I saw the text at like 9 o'clock at night. I was like, hell yeah, Boom. I was like, I'm in, bro. So, shout out to everybody here. Crispy Bomb, love the voice. You know it. You know I love that voice. Big Cloud, my brother, you know what's up. And Bad Bit, that's my dude. You know the solidarity that we're sharing right now with the visualization. I love it, brother. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Thank you, sir. But you can find me at ILP Sundays, 1 p.m. It's gonna be really lit this weekend. I'm the Xbox dude. A lot of those dudes there, COG is Nintendo, Sovereign is Play Anywhere, and any other day, Attic or Flip Flop and be Sony or be Microsoft or be whatever. But I'm gonna wave that.
Sorry, no.
Exactly. I'm gonna wave that Phil Dominus Maximus soon to be Aurelius, and that Aurelius it looks like it's gonna happen, guys. But you could also go to lordsofgaming.net where you can see KOS, that's King of the Statues. You can see more of my statue shows there. They're not too long. They're shot in 4K. So if you have that 4K on, please hit that 4K button so you can watch the King in 4K. So I look kind of good in 4K, baby. I mean, let the boy shine a little bit in 4K, baby. But come check us out, man. Come check us out.
Oh yeah, definitely do. It's gonna be a great show. You guys have been really knocking it out of the park. I mean, the last 6 or 7 shows have been must watches, much listens to. You had some big guests come on, and of course, you guys just the brotherly love that goes on live on the air every Sunday is something to be definitely admired, in my opinion. And speaking of brotherly love, my brother Neo Mental, my actual brother, is live in the chat. What's up, dude? Thanks for coming and checking us out. And real quick, we're gonna get Crispy Bomb on out of here, but let me just catch up with this last super chat. GLR Aldridge drops an outstanding and very generous $5 super chat and says this. Oh, it just went away. Hold on. Where are you? It says, great show, Boom. I'm loving all the content. Keep it coming. Best time to be an Xbox fan / gamer. Yes, indeed. Thank you for the compliment. Crispy Bomb, you, my friend, you bring it 100. Again, you might have been a little quiet today because we did have some big personalities, but needless to say, you did bring some heavy opinions, and that opinions that made a lot of sense during the conversation. Tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, but more importantly, check you out on the weekly, unbelievably popular Retro Renegades run by not only Jay, but known as Graphic God, but all of you retro guys that are on that program.
Hey, thanks, Boom. It's always awesome. We got some big opinions here today. Kind of hard to get a word in, just saying. but always fun with you guys. I mean, it is a blast. And you can find me at Crispy Bomb on Twitter. It's Crispy Bomb 28 on Xbox Live. You can find me on Next Podcast tomorrow night and Tuesday night, Retro Renegades. This week it's going to be on Supersonic's channel. Come check out some great live gameplay. Yes, sir. Have a good day, everyone.
Well, yep, and I guarantee you that maybe Streets of Rage 4 might be being played live on that show. Which happens to be absolutely absolutely amazing if you haven't played it. And of course, last and no way least, we're going to talk to Mr. Badbit. Mr. Badbit, thank you so much for being here. As always, bringing it 100. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone about the amazing trophy room, but more importantly, where they can find you on social media. And now, subscribe to your channel, but also follow you because you are now considered one of the good voices / good guys on the Double Barrel Gaming Network.
Ooh, it's a network. I like this. That's official. Yeah, you can find me over at Mr. Badbit on Twitter. You can find my channel all about game news, reviews, and unboxings, Badbit Games, on YouTube. Search Badbit. It's there. Trust me. It's a little fireball. It's cute. It's adorable. His name's Jeffrey. It's great. And you can find the video version of my podcast that I do there called The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. You can find that podcast as well on iTunes, Spotify. What is another one? Google Play. Wherever you find your RSS feed services, my podcast is there. And yeah, that's all. And listen, this is a fantastic show. Crispy, your voice is just, man.
He's got to be a video game character, man.
Really, he has to be a voice actor somewhere. I don't know. Big Cloud, you brought the fire today. King, let me tell you something. When Boom said you were going to be on, I'm like, how can I miss this? Because you bring an extra level of something. You are the secret sauce, my man.
Thank you.
You just bring it. You just.
I want you to put your ears in the box,
capture
and I want you to send me your ears. Just make sure that you
make sure they're in a cold pack so they don't smell when they get there.
We went there.
Oh my God. Anyway, listen, folks,
I want that Infinity Gauntlet, son. That's all.
Okay. No, he ain't sending that. That's for sure.
Yeah, he gonna send that. That's all.
$999. It's still available at sideshow.com. You can go and
they still selling it for $999. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, they ain't gonna go there.
Nah, because we were talking about that Hot Toys thing. They selling that Hulkbuster that people are actually buying the damn toy for $1,000.
That's
That's out of their
ridiculous.
mind. They out of their
Yeah.
mind.
I did mine
Sorry.
for that. I can't. No.
Well, anyway, listen, gentlemen, what I'll say is this. This has been another great show. I want to thank the chat. Of course, Lethal Papa keeping it 100 in the chat, making sure that this is a place that you want to come and hang out, and removing the trolls that occasionally come in and try to charge for you walking over the bridge. This is a free bridge. And we're hopefully you enjoyed today's show. I want, of course, thank everyone for the outstanding generosity that continues to come in. You guys and gals completely blow me away with how generous you are each and every show that I do. So it is greatly and truly appreciated. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that my dad taught me when I was a kid. And I think it's more relevant now than ever. And he used to tell me, he used to say, son, you treat others how you yourself want to be treated. And also, remember, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. And if you live by those rules, I can guarantee you, you're going to have an awesome day. So guess what, folks? We'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. Take care, everyone, and have a fantastic weekend.